Today's takeaway can make your current parenting issue 50% smaller. That's half the size. You're welcome. Hello, I'm Noga Hallman, founder of UpsideDown Parenting, where parenting meets personal growth. And this is Monday Takeaway. In this week's episode, I will show you step by step how to figure out the cause of any of your parenting issues with a one-liner that will solve 50% of your problem. This is the most valuable thing I learned when I had my turning point 4.5 years ago. I tested several solid personal growth methods, and every single one of them began with a description of the problem that is narrowed down to a one-liner within minutes or sometimes even seconds. But the starting point was always a monologue that often came across more like a good juicy rant. Now, I used to be ashamed of my ranting. After all, shouldn't I be grateful to have what I have? But over the years, I've actually become a big fan of ranting because I've noticed that verbalizing my parenting frustrations, the way I experience them in my thinking, is oftentimes the quickest route to clarity regarding any parenting issue. When I say rant, I mean that kind of conversation or monologue that you have with your spouse about your kids at the end of the day, or when you call him during his lunch break because you're freaking out. It's a typical afternoon schmooze with the mothers at the playground, and other times it can just be the endless loop of thoughts that are taking over your mind around some nerve-wracking parenting challenge. So you may have noticed that ranting brings some kind of emotional relief, maybe a sense of sisterhood, but more often than not, it leaves us as helpless as we were when we started out. Now, what if you could listen to your own rant and single out the exact cause of your frustration? Here are some typical expressions that I picked up from my own and other mothers' rants. When you hear yourself saying one or all of them, it's a sure indicator that there's an issue that needs your attention. To make it simple, I divided them into 4 groups. Group number 1, blaming our children and our circumstances. Our misery is someone else's fault. And these are the statements you might hear in your mind or in your rant. Because the kids drove me crazy today, I have no patience for you now. There he goes again, drawing on the wall. Group number 2, wishful thinking. They shouldn't throw their stuff all over the place when they come home from school. But they do. Why does he put so much food on his plate when he has no intention to eat it? This is also known as, he will never learn to take just what he plans to eat, and he always wastes so much food. Here's another one. She should take a shower more often. And she doesn't. And of course, I wish you listened to me when I told you to take an umbrella with you this morning. Group number 3 is I declarations. I can't stand it when the house is so messy. I need things to be different or I won't be able to continue. I'm fed up with her. When will she grow up already? And finally, group number 4, popular parenting beliefs that we bought into. Kids are supposed to fill in the blank. Respect their parents, be happy, know when to use their inside voices, be kind to their siblings, kids are supposed to pay attention in school. These statements have many cousins, brothers, sisters, in-laws, but you get the idea. And have you noticed that every single one of them expresses a gap between what you expect and what you get? You want something to be different than the way it is right now, and it's not. Here's the rule of thumb. When the gap between what you expect and what you get is big, your pain is big. The impact that the issue has on you is directly related to the size of the gap. So let's say you heard yourself saying, Michael always wastes so much food. What you need to do now in order to zero in on your parenting issue is to fill in this one-liner. I want and it's not happening. In this example, I want Michael to put on his plate only what he plans to eat, and he's not. If it's not a one-liner, then you're not there yet. Now, in case you're thinking that this is an obvious no-brainer, I want you to know that this is the secret of the cutting-edge methods of therapists and coaches today. This is what allows specialists to achieve in 2 sessions what is normally achieved in 4 or more. And because I know that no matter how many children you have, time is not something you can afford to spare, I want you to own this skill so you can head in the direction of positive change and transformation fast. And how exactly does finding your one-liner eliminate 50% of the problem? It usually turns any big, uncontrollable elephant into a small, more manageable ant. A one-liner is what's left after you pop the big inflated balloon of stressful thoughts that created most of the hullabaloo around the issue anyhow. That's why it's my top energy-saving device. Plus, without a very precise definition of your problem, it would take so much longer to figure out which of the available solutions are the perfect match to the problem. Before we wrap up, let's recap. The cause for all parenting frustrations is the gap between what you expect and what you get. Listen to your own words and they will tell you where that gap is. And you can boil down every parenting situation to a one-liner. Today we focused on finding the problem because in order to mind the gap and bridge it, you first must know where it is. Einstein said, "I want to know God's thoughts. All the rest are just details." And I say, I want to figure out my one-liner. The rest is just details. The purpose of this episode is to empower you, so make sure to make it your own by taking action. So what I invite you to do now is to think about one of your current parenting issues, then boil it down to one line, and finally write your one-liner in the comments below. If you have a hard time putting your finger on that one-liner, I'm here to help. Just give me a clear description of your issue in the comments on the blog, and I'll comment on it. If you are empowered and inspired by this video, make sure to go to UpsideDownParenting.com and leave your comment now. Subscribe to our channel and share this video with other mothers in your family and in your community who would like to learn how to figure out their exact parenting issue like pros. Don't miss out on any of our valuable parenting tips. Subscribe to our mailing list on UpsideDownParenting.com. It's free. And until next time, get curious about the parenting challenges that come your way because they are your custom-made opportunities to step into the mother you are meant to be. I'm done. That's fine.